I want to welcome everyone to Avini Vibes, and today is December
Oh no.
7th, 2023. And as we were just saying, time just goes by. The year is almost over. Hard to believe. So just a little housekeeping. We are going to be recording tonight, and I want to let you know we respect your time. So we're going to try to get you out of here in about 45 minutes or so. If you're new or if you're old, doesn't matter because we're all in this together. But I want to let you know that the format tonight, I don't want to surprise you if you've been on it before because it's going to be a little bit different tonight. Tonight, we're going to show a video, really cool video. And that video is not too long, but we're going to share that with you as well. Okay. Our special guest tonight, you are a special guest. I want you to know that. I mean that sincerely. Each one of you are a special guest here tonight, and all of you have something to say and something to share. And, you know, we always want to hear what you have to say and what you have to share. So again, just raise your hand if you have a question or a comment. We're glad to get to you. We don't make any medical claims as well, okay? So I just want to give you that heads up. We're very fortunate tonight. We have Chip Littlejohn and Marcy Littlejohn with us. Now, they're not going to be on camera because they're traveling, and that's kind of a blessing in being involved with Avini, is you get to travel a lot, and they're just amazing people. So are you guys with us? Can you say hello? Chip and Marcy Littlejohn, leaderships of our company of Avini and Diamonds, and they're driving. I know they're driving.
We are here.
There they are. Hey, Marcy. Hey, Chip.
Good evening. We're with you.
All right.
We're enjoying the show.
Tell everybody where you're headed, where you are, and where you're heading.
We are from Nebraska, but we're Western Nebraska, so we're like a few miles from the Wyoming border on the west. And my daughter lives in Omaha, and she's just a few miles from the Iowa border. So it's a long jaunt across to somewhere around 8.5 hours.
8.5 hours. All right. Well, thoughts and prayers are with you. You have safe travel as you go, and we're going to call on you in a little bit if some people have some questions. That I know you guys are always there to answer those questions about these amazing products. We're very blessed to have. Last week we had our CEO Neil Roth was our guest, and of course we had Chip right there with us to answer questions. But you know, the products are amazing. I shared with Marcy and Chip today. My husband, I thought he might join us tonight for a testimonial because it is powerful, but he's, you know, he's still recovering. So he promised me another night he will be with us. But as I said, tonight we're going to do things a little bit different, but we want to talk about unlocking the power of your mind and becoming limitless. So we're going to watch a short video from Dr. Joseph Dispenza. Does anybody know Dr. Joe? Have you ever listened to Dr. Joe Dispenza? Very powerful. He had an awful bicycle accident. He was a competitive bicycle rider, and he was a chiropractor as well professionally. But the person giving directions waved him on, and he smashed into a van, and I believe he broke his back and many other bones, and they said he would never walk again. I'll make a disclaimer. I don't know if Dr. Joe's using Avini, but I'm going to tell him about it for sure because he needs to know as well. But it's really powerful because he works with the power of our minds and how powerful that is. So I want us to, Carol, if you don't mind, we're going to look at unlocking the power of your mind and becoming limitless with Dr. Joseph Dispenza. And
Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. Tell me when you can see my screen, guys.
We can see it.
Okay, good.
Right, there's a big line through it, though. All right.
Okay. Well, yes. Well, I haven't started yet, so hang tight. Okay, you ready?
Yeah. Can you make it larger at full screen?
Oh, yeah. Do you want me to make it the full screen?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
If you keep thinking the same thoughts, if you keep making the same choices, you keep doing the same things, you keep creating the same experiences, you keep feeling the same emotions. I don't know, let's be conservative. You do that for 10 years. You would have to agree with me then that it would become more automatic, it would become more unconscious. Your personality creates your personal reality. That's it. That is it. And your personality is made of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. So keep thinking the same way, keep acting the same way, keep feeling the same way. Your personality is the same and your personal reality would be the same as well. So if you wanted to change your life, if you wanted to change your personal reality, you would have to change your personality. And then you'd have to start thinking about what you've been thinking about and decide if you really want to believe that any longer. And when does the story end? It's that moment that you become so conscious of that thought. You're so tired of it. You're so aware of it that you would never let it slip by your awareness ever again.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because running a business is hard, and waking up every day and getting to work when you're all by yourself is hard. And the thing that saved me, that continues to inspire me, motivate me, give me hope, inspiration, ideas, is looking at the stories of people who've done a lot more than me. And I learn strategies, I get motivation, and it gets me to believe in myself to go off and attack the day. And so I hope this video inspires you to do the same as well. So today, let's learn how to unlock the unlimited power of our mind with Dr. Joe Dispenza. Enjoy.
Experience one of the most powerful adaptogens in the world.
All right, guys.
Sourced from high elevation.
Okay, here we go.
You catch yourself complaining and blaming and making excuses and feeling sorry for yourself, and that's been your unconscious program. Then the moment you become conscious of those unconscious behaviors, you're out of the program. You're only in the program when you're unconscious, and so it takes an enormous amount of energy and awareness to separate from those programs. And then there's those emotions that we feel every single day that are so familiar to us that we don't even know what they are. We just feel guilty. We don't even know it's guilt. It's just how we feel. And the stronger the emotions that we have to experiences in our life, the more altered we are inside of us. When the chemistry changes inside of us, the brain narrows the focus on the cause and takes a snapshot or a series of snapshots, and that's called a long-term memory. And so then it makes total sense then that a person, by every time they relive that event in their life, they're making the same chemistry in their brain and their body, and their body's literally believing it's living that experience over and over again. And now the body's so in the past that it's the mind of the past. So then the act of becoming so conscious that you don't go unconscious is a changing of consciousness. How many times do we have to forget until we stop forgetting and start remembering? That is the moment of change.
Rule number 2 is master your thoughts.
The majority of the thoughts that we think every single day are the same thoughts as we thought yesterday. And in fact, 90% of them are. And the same thoughts leading to the same choices leading to the same behaviors creating the same experiences, and the same experiences producing the same feelings and emotions, begins to cause our biology to become very similar, very same. And the repetition of that and firing and wiring then creates automatic programs in the brain and body. And 95% of who we are is a state of unconscious or subconscious programs where we've done something so many times that the body now can actually do it automatically without the conscious mind. If you truly wanted to change and you understood that your personality creates your personal reality, and your personality is made up of how you think, how you act, and how you feel, and the present personality who's listening to this call has created the present personal reality called their life. That means if they wanted to create a new personal reality, a new life, they would have to begin to change their personality. They'd have to change themselves. And most people then try to create a new personal reality as the same personality. It doesn't work. So then if you're sitting in your meditation and you ask yourself the question, who do I want to be when I open my eyes? What is the greatest expression of myself? And you said, okay, let me remind myself of how I no longer want to think. You know, the thoughts like, whatever, it's too hard, I'll never change, I'll never get what I want. Let me become so conscious of those unconscious thoughts that I wouldn't let that thought slip by my awareness today unnoticed by me and program my autonomic nervous system in a specific outcome. And then if you said, how would I want to speak today? How do I want to act? How do I want to behave? And you reminded yourself how you weren't going to act and how you weren't going to behave. And you became conscious of those unconscious habits to such a degree you wouldn't go unconscious and behave in the same way. That's when you're no longer the program. Now your consciousness observing the program. And if you said, when does my energy drop? What do I feel when I feel those typical familiar emotions? What are they? So let me name them, just so I'm so aware of them that when my energy drops, I can catch myself in that moment and not return back to the same familiar emotions and cause my body to believe it's back in the past. And we can't see a new future from the past. So that process then is what I call getting beyond the old self. And it's a disentangling from the program. The word meditation means to become familiar with. So as you sit there and become familiar with those states of mind and body, you begin to objectify your subjective self. Now you are becoming so aware of the unconscious programs, you won't go unconscious. And that's the first step to change. And then what if you said, what thoughts do I want to fire and wire in my brain? What thoughts do I want to put my attention behind? And begin to install the new circuitry, the new hardware. And if I keep my attention on it and I fire and wire those thoughts, it's going to begin to become a software program. And that's going to be the new voice in my head. That's going to be the voice that's telling me, the new program, that you can, that it is possible.
Rule number 3 is practice repetition.
Every time you learn something new, you make new connections in your brain. That's what learning is. Learning is forging new synaptic connections. And as you begin to leave imprints in your neurological tissue as a result of your interaction in the environment, the next thing is that you're going to have an opportunity then to apply that information, to personalize it, to demonstrate it. And a certain group of people will get their behaviors to match their intentions, to get their actions equal to their thoughts. They'll step out into the unknown and they'll try it. And when they do, they'll have a new experience. An experience then enriches the brain, reorganizing more circuits than what you understood physiologically. But the moment those neurons string into place, the brain makes a chemical, and that chemical is called a feeling or an emotion. And the moment you feel unlimited, the moment you feel like a patient parent, the moment you feel abundant, the moment you feel free, now you are teaching your body chemically to understand what your mind has intellectually understood. So we can say knowledge is for the mind and experience is for the body. And in that moment, you're beginning to embody the truth of that philosophy, of that theory. And you're literally signaling new genes in new ways. And you are rewriting your biological program. But if you've done it once, it must mean you can do it again. And if you can repeat any experience over and over again, you are going to neurochemically condition your mind and body to begin to work as one. And when you've done something so many times that the body now knows how to do it as well as the mind, now it's becoming innate in you. It's second nature. It's easy. It's familiar. It's who you are. As a matter of fact, you've practiced it so many times that you don't even have to consciously think about it because it's becoming a subconscious program. So our job is to go from philosopher to initiate to master, from knowledge to experience to wisdom, from mind to body to soul, from thinking to doing to being, to learning it with your head, practicing it with your hands, and knowing it by heart.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching.
That's it, Carol. Thank you.
Hey.
All right. Now, I think that was so powerful. The whole piece that he talks about is why we're here. You know, you may be here because you had an ailment or somebody shared it with you and you had a belief level. And one of the things he said was that a certain group of people will get their behaviors to match their intentions. So you may have joined us at some point to come here to Avini Vibes, and some of us won't be here in a year. Some of us might not even be here next week. But tonight's a special night because I think the people that are supposed to be here are certainly here to hear that message and to hear a message from Chip and Marcy. And I know Marcy and I did not rehearse this, nor did we even talk about this in depth today. We had a quick conversation. But Marcy, would you join us just for a moment and share your experience of what you went through your personal journey with Avini and how you and Chip are here and you show up all the time? And because you're that one that changed your thoughts, yourselves, and you're here as a leader in Avini. Would you
Absolutely.
share it?
Thank you. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Well, yes, you're right. We are both here. I feel like on purpose. You know, when you find out what your purpose is, boy, does passion ever follow purpose, right? Sometimes what we discover about ourselves is that we were going the wrong direction. You know, we were headed the wrong way. And certainly I was headed the wrong way. I discovered several years ago, 11 and a half years ago, I was told I had less than 8 weeks to live. So something had to change. I was driven by stress. I had multiple stresses. In fact, 3 dynamic stresses in my life, and then showed up as 3 dynamic separate diseases. Those deadly cells were taking my life. If I was willing to wasn't, I decided, I made choices. I had to change something in order to change the situation. My record wasn't stuck. My record was stuck before on stress, worry, and concern, right? And instead of going down the rest of the way down that road, my road changed and I started looking for disease to relieve the disease, the discomfort, and the despair, right? I knew I had the answer. I wasn't using it. I wasn't doing what I needed to do. So I changed the rhythm by taking the product 5 to 10 drops every hour on the hour. I literally changed my entire life. In fact, the product saved my life. Instead of an exit plan, I had an enter plan. Enter my own life, come back into my life, and not allow the plan that medical science said was ahead of me to come to fruition. I made my own plan. One of the things I used was my brain, because how you see yourself is how you are. If you're sitting on the couch feeling badly, telling yourself you feel bad, you'll feel bad. If you're sitting on the couch telling your body to heal itself, go to work, and you simply proceed through your day doing the things that you normally do.
Did we lose her?
I think we did. Well,
Right.
I think she'll be back in a second, but she may have hit a dead zone.
Yeah, they're driving cross country.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is she back? Okay, so I know she will be back, but very, very powerful, and knowledge is for the mind and the experiences for the body. And
We're back.
listen,
I'm sorry.
There she is.
there he is. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm making a mind-body connection for you, and I want you to think of what I'm bringing it to how we use the product, but I also want you to see more than that. I'd like to kind of wash the windshield and say it isn't just about how we use the product, how we live day to day, but it's also how we think, and how we project on other people. And that happens by changing you, making your record unstuck, by thinking about the same situation in a different way. So I took the product, and then I would say a little prayer every time I put the product in my mouth. I would say a little prayer, and I would arm the product. In the beginning, I said, go forth and be Pac-Man, right? And gobble up all the bad cells. And I would visualize the Pac-Man, millions of little Pac-Man going in with every drop of our cell defender. And it would spread throughout my body, and I literally could feel it. I was seeing it, feeling it, and thinking it. And by golly, that must have been what was happening, because at the end of 8 weeks, 8 weeks in a day, instead of gone, I was here, and I wasn't surviving, I was thriving. And that's 11 and a half years ago. And I'm still thriving and surviving. I've had no reoccurrences of any kind. And I had one of the 3 kinds is the most reoccurring kind there is. It's the most deadly. Usually you don't survive it. And certainly they didn't think I would at that stage. But even somebody that has a lesser number in their stage presence, right? As we talk about these things, you notice we don't make medical claims. Well, I'm not making a medical claim. They told me I was exiting stage right. I was stage door 4, and that means I was leaving according to what their medical information was. I wanted to continue to use their medical information, but I didn't want to use the medical protocol. So I didn't. And the result is I won my battle. But my mind and body were all part of how I won my battle. What I told my body to do, it did. What I asked from my body, I got. And it was because I had great expectation for that result. So change how you think positive, come to the world positive, say to the world, I'm here, I'm God's bright and shiny star, and you can find me always shining. So, gosh. Okay, so now where you wanted me to go, I think where you wanted me to go, I will share with you that if you have been doing the same job, if you've been part of the job culture, and you went to work 9 to 5 every day, and every week you got the same paycheck. Maybe it went up 5%, maybe it went up 3%, maybe it went up 10%, but you were just beating your head against the wall because there were 10 people and maybe 2 of them were family in the company that you were working for. Think about that. Think if you were someone in that position, and every day you continued to go to work, and you kept thinking that your life was going to change, things were going to get better, you'd get another little raise, but you're literally bumping at every step of the way. You're against a glass ceiling. You're coming up against the thing you can't see that's in your way. That's why it's referred to a glass ceiling, right? You can't break through because the people above you are ensconced in their 9 to 5 or 8 to 5. So how do you fix that? You start looking for a way to change your life. You can do Avini part-time. You can do Avini some part-time, full-time, or big time. What you can't do is do it sometime. Sometime won't work for you. Sometime is what you say when you're never going to get there. If your attitude is part-time, we can help you. If your attitude is full-time, we can help you. If your attitude is big time, we know you're here to help yourself. We're just going to guide, lead, and protect. That's the job of leadership. Make a friend and be on purpose. Did I say that I'm living my purpose? I'm living my purpose. It was
Absolutely.
a decision. Make a decision. Drive your car on the road that already exists. Don't make a new road. This road is here. We have the right company, the right tools, the right products, the right people, so that you can step in and be you. Maybe it's the first time you've ever been successful at an opportunity like this. That's great. Let us help you. We will help you. The people on this call will step up for each of you so that you can find the road less traveled, more performance, better fit, and a new discovery for some people. As you discover your road, you'll find it's more fun to travel together than by yourself. So that's my piece. Chip said he had something.
Well, ask them if they want some more.
Do you want
Yes, we want to hear you, Chip. We always
some
like,
more?
Chip. Please.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to take a second and I'm going to allow you to see what I'm seeing while I'm talking to you. So I don't know if you can see out the window, but we are crossing Nebraska on Interstate 80. And to give you an experience of what it's like maybe to be an Avini leader and then what we're thinking. So we're in a vehicle that's driving itself across Nebraska, which is a weird feeling. The person that Christine chose to speak to us, the doctor today, talked about how each thing that we perceive is a chemical. And that little green arc on the top of the steering wheel there
We
tells
can't
you
see
that
it,
the car,
Chip.
We're not seeing that, Chip.
You have your filter on.
You've got a, yeah, you got a background.
Oh, okay, I see. So you can't see it because the
No,
background.
we're not being
Gotcha.
able to see. Uh-uh.
I don't know how to fix it.
More background and effects.
As you notice, the car's driving itself.
Okay.
Yay!
So,
Now we can see it.
all right.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
gosh.
now we got no background. Sorry about that. So we're actually about to pass the truck, and you'll see the car's making the decision to pass the truck. Anyway,
You notice he doesn't have his hands on the steering wheel.
No hands.
yeah, because it can't see my face as well as it wants to.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I wanted to say that we are walking, talking, thinking biochemical reactions. And he was speaking about how when you feel something, whether it's abundance or security or insecurity or lack, or well-being or joy, whatever you're feeling, it is a chemistry that's happening within you. And if you're toxic inside, then these things will be inaccurate and you won't be able to produce the amount of power you would if you were clean. And one of the main core competencies of Avini is certainly that you get clean inside and everything starts running at its ultimate. So what we want, and just an example, and I think this is a really like super cool example. So happy thoughts are oxytocin. Joy and security is serotonin. These things are made in our gut, but they're active in our brain. The perception is in our brain. And there's an example given by one of the great clinical psychologists that's active these days, and that is Jordan Peterson, about lobsters. And lobsters are highly sensitive to the serotonin that they make. And one of the things that they do is when their attitude is good, they'll stand up real bravely and stand tall, and they'll hold their claws up and they'll say, I am a #1 lobster. And I am tougher than you, and you're a #2 or 3 or 4 or 8 or 9 or 10 lobster. And it's the serotonin that biochemically is making them act like that. If they are challenged by another lobster and beaten, then they make less serotonin. If they're challenged by another lobster and get beaten again, then they make less serotonin. Finally, they're just sitting there, their number, 5 or 6 or 7 lobster, and their claws are down and their tails down, and they just feel beaten. But interestingly enough, and this is what happens when you begin to use Avini, if they get a resupply of their serotonin, then they'll go back and compete for that top spot again. And I believe that's part of what's happening with the people involved in Avini, is their own accurate opinion of themselves begins to improve, and their performance across the board begins to improve, and they feel like they have something to offer to the other humans that is of great value. And I hope that made sense to you. That was my quick little thing, and I'm going to pass you back to Marcy. I'll probably shut the camera off right quick here. So
Amen. Yes, that makes sense. That makes absolute sense, because they're, like you said, they're cleaner, their bodies, they're functioning, their body can function now with getting all the toxins out of their body and having a cleaner body.
It's what?
What kind of car is that? It drives
Yeah,
itself.
what is it?
I was waiting for that to soak
It's an
in.
Avini mobile.
It's actually a Cadillac long Super Cruise. Yeah, it's not electric.
Oh,
So but it does drive itself. It has. We would not have ordered it that way. It's just how it came. It was ordered for a lady, and she got sick, and we didn't get to talk to her. We got well, so we get the car. But anyway, it's beautiful. It's white diamond paint job.
oh,
Beautiful.
Isn't that interesting that I'm a white diamond distributor?
uh-huh.
And it has every kind of gadget you can ever imagine. I had no idea that we had actually had rented a car to go to Tennessee one time, and that car had a different kind of drive. It would.
The sensation of doing it is a biochemical reaction in your brain. I have to say, the first time your car takes off without you, it's a crazy feeling.
Oh yeah, and when you just like he was adjusting his phone with both hands, bringing up the picture for you guys, and we're passing a truck at 80 mile an hour on the interstate.
But the car wasn't the message for the night. So
Yeah.
we'll give it back to Christine.
Well, Christine, if you don't mind, I'm going to tell you one more story about the car. Now knowing a little bit about the car, right? We're driving to the Dallas event, and we get to Fort Worth, and it is 8 lanes of traffic on each side of the highway, 10 in some places, right?
And we're from rural Nebraska.
And of course we're from rural Nebraska. We've been all over the world, but that doesn't matter. When you're in that kind of traffic, usually you get pretty nervous, right? Driver gets nervous and you're super conscious. I said, what are you doing? I look over and that green light that he showed you was on. I said, what are you doing? He said, well, she has more experience than I do. I said, what? I said, take the wheel. He said, no. He said, it's used to the traffic. I'm not. Anyway, so we're going through Fort Worth with all that. Pretty soon, the radio comes on, and Carrie Underwood blasts on the radio one of the great songs, and blasts, Jesus, take the wheel. And I was thinking the same thing. Anyway, so that's my joke for you about our car. But the truth is, he did that.
Oh, that's wild.
All right, guys, we're here for questions or whatever you need.
Okay, does anybody want to ask a question? Enika, you're gonna step up for a moment. Where are you? You just moved on my screen. I know you
She's
want
got her hand up. She's got her hand up.
Enika, why don't you share your story?
Right now, that's fine.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. So yeah, Christine, we were talking last night and I was just, first time being able to share this. So thank you for hearing my story. But, no major breakthroughs, but about a month ago, I started using the Avini products, the Cell Defender, of course, the Nano Silver, the Z Immunity, and the fiber. And I have noticed an increase in energy, in clarity, just in overall well-being. So that was fantastic. But one piece that I wasn't expecting was on the side of my temples here. I always had a little bit of like acne scars from my 20s, and I'm in my mid 40s now, and they've never gone away. And there's a big difference. And I noticed that I don't like to use a lot of makeup, and it's like, now I don't have to. So I don't have to like hide that anymore. And just people may not have even really noticed it, but for me to not have to feel that way sometimes, it's been wonderful. I'm really appreciative for that. And as I said, that was an unexpected plus. My skin just feels like it does have a bit of a glow. I get out of the shower, I just spray the nano silver in my hair, and it's just a little more full. And yeah, I feel a nice glow. But all the same wonderful results like everyone speaks of, like just internally feeling better, I'm very active. I love to run and exercise and drink a lot of water, but that was something I didn't expect. So it was a great result. So just wanted to mention that. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah,
I really
course.
appreciate that. And, sometimes you don't know what you're going to, we come to this product maybe because someone shared it with us when we shared an ailment or a problem that we're having in our own health. A similar thing happened to me. And I was so elated because I had an issue on my skin for many, many years. And people didn't realize, like, I could see those little tiny bumps everywhere. And all of a
Right.
I went to get a facial and the lady said, "Oh my God, your face looks great. They're all gone." And I was like, "Oh my goodness." And that's not the reason why why I started using the products, but I was elated with that same outcome and grateful also. Alan, I think Alan's here on the screen. Alan has a testimonial, I think. Alan, you want to unmute and share? There he is. Oh, you got to unmute first.
There
Alan,
you
well,
go.
thank you, Enika.
My lovely bride and I are coming up on our 55th wedding anniversary very soon. So we've been together for a long time. We got married when we were 3 years old, of course. I'm trying to help you believe that. Anyway, Barbara has had some medical difficulties of different types, but one of the problems recently was high blood pressure and low blood pressure. Numbers as high as the systolic is the higher number generally, as high as 236, 209, 210. And she's had some low ones, like as low as that's diastolic, as low as 26, 30, and really low numbers like that. She started on our new hydration product this week. And since the 5th of this month, when she started taking them, she's had nothing in the 160s and above, and she's had nothing in the 30s. She's had a 40 or 2 on the diastolic side, and she's had 0 160s and above, and 0 30s or 20s or any of those. That is,
Oh my gosh, Ellen, that is incredible. If let's just say that's reproducible. I don't know that we thought that was going to happen, but that's huge. I mean, that's one of the biggest problems of the humans at the moment, and that is it. I mean, I can't tell you how happy I am to hear what you just said. That's amazing. We got to find out if that's going to be true for more people. Thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah.
well, you're very welcome. I don't know whether I can plant my flag on that hill as a victory yet, because it's only been a few days, but it sure is a really good trend to see that happening.
Wow.
Well, Alan,
it's the beginning.
Go ahead, Chip.
Yeah.
It's product discovery, and this is something new in our hands. We had hoped and expected that people whose legs wouldn't be still at night or cramped at night, it would help them. That seems to be proving to be the truth. 100%. It seems like people who weren't able to go through the night because they had to get up to urinate a lot, who would think that you could drink more of this kind of water and be able to go longer without having to get up? But apparently it's hydrating your tissues instead of going straight from your stomach to your bladder and needing a trip to the toilet. But what you just said, I mean, let's just say that this was dependable and reproducible, what Alan Way just said, and we got that marketplace. We wouldn't need anything else.
Oh.
I mean, it's that big of a marketplace that Alan Way just brought it to the front. And that's I'm so glad I was here to hear that tonight. And the car's changing lanes. Please be careful. Okay, it's doing okay, I guess. But I'm so excited. Thank you. I'm gonna quiet myself. But that was.
He's quieting himself.
That was amazing. That was.
All of the doctors that she is seeing, and I think I can safely say she's seeing about 8 different doctors for various issues. But these doctors will see these results. I have it on my computer. I have the evidence in the little we have 4 different blood pressure cuffs that we use.
Mm.
All of them are in alignment. That's why we have 4. I kept checking to make sure they were all together, and they're in alignment. So these are very real and true numbers. So we had you all have heard, most of you, about the testimony of when she went to the nephrologist in January, and he said that she was in 3rd stage renal failure, and he did not offer any help. We went back to see him in July, and she was, all of her blood pressure numbers were in alignment. So she was fine. She was in the safe zone again. And you've heard that story before. The nephrologist that we saw when she was in the hospital a few weeks ago, we saw him again. It's the first time I've seen him since July. And I had that printout that you all have heard. I have it on a 1-sheet testimonial, and I had a stack of them sitting in the hospital room for anybody to pick up and take away. Of course, it had my information on the bottom so they could contact me. Well, this nephrologist walked in the room and he saw those sheets of paper and he picked one up. He said, "What is this?" I said, "It's a story about you. Read it and see what you think." And he looked over pretty quickly at it, and I said, "Do you see anything in there that's incorrect?" He said, "Not a word." I said, "Wouldn't you like for all of your patients to have that kind of success?" He said, "I sure would." And as he said that, some nurse or doctor, whoever it was, came in and took him by the arm and said, "We need you right down the hall right now." So away he went, and I haven't talked to him since. He will have more opportunities to hear about this.
Well, good for you, Alan. You took that responsibility to share. So thank you for doing that. And I know when you first were involved with Avini, I don't know if you would have walked into that doctor's office, would you? But now the proof is in the pudding. And I'm dealing with the same thing with my own husband, with that same issue. And we started on the hydration. I've been doing similar all week. It's only been 4 days now, and it feels a lot better. So I'll get him on this call one night for sure. Chip,
Christine, could I say one more thing while Alan, because of what he just said?
Please.
One of the things that we do when we get together like this is we work on how to say things, how to get people's attention. You know, we feel like we have some of the most important things there are in the world in our hands right now because of what we're doing together. And when Alan said that he looked to the doctor and said, "Wouldn't it be great if all your patients could have this result?" That is a powerful statement. Yep. And I was so proud to hear him say that he had that in his, file of things to use in a conversation. And I I'm just swelling up with pride. I feel like Alan Way is, I don't know, my dad or one of my kids, something. I'm just that kind of proud of him at this moment.
Mm.
I thank you for the kind words. It's kind of hard to get me to shut up about it sometimes. My wife gets tired of me talking about it all the time. My neighbors and friends, they're probably sick of me, but that's okay. I can stand it.
You just keep talking, my friend. Remember, your record's not scratched. You decided to be a brand new shiny person, the best you could be.
Yep.
And with that decision came your purpose and passion. And boy, let me tell you, passion's irresistible.
That's right. You're an enthusiast, my dear.
Yes, you are. So we're talking about the record. Marcy keeps referring to the record. That's because she and I talked a little bit, and it was about, we play the same record over and over in her head. That's why I wanted to bring the thoughts of Joe Dispenza to us tonight, to really think about what you're thinking about. Think about those thoughts that you're thinking about, because, you can share this product, Avini, and maybe you don't have the belief level that Alan has because he has the results, and you share it with someone, and all of a sudden you don't, you're kind of get shut down, and your belief level might not be there. But that's why we're in this together. We're to be practicing in our repetition. As we come to these calls each Thursday night, or get on the 11 o'clock afternoon call. Chip, I heard you the other day. What an awesome call you had 2 days ago. I enjoyed that so much, but we're all in this because there are a certain group of people that will get our behaviors to match what our beliefs are. If you're new, you might not have that belief, but now that's why we're here together to join as an army to go out and share with the people. What Chip just said, you said if we could change just that population alone, wow, think what we could do in the world. And I think we're doing it with leadership like Marcy and Chip. Does anyone want to ask a question before we lose them, or we're going to run out of time in a few minutes? If you want to ask Marcy or Chip a question, please feel free to raise your hand. Okay, Ray.
Yeah.
Hi.
So I just joined on Tuesday. I haven't got my product yet, but I'm very excited. Just thrilled from all I hear. But I guess my question are one for me, what are the calls I need to be on? When are they? And if I want to invite someone to listen to a call, what would be the best call to have them listen to?
Okay, Ray. So what we'll do is I will send you the information so you can join this call. And who is your sponsor? You have a sponsor?
Dr. Karen Kelly.
Okay, so you could ask Dr. Karen Telly, or what you can do is put your info in the chat and we'll share. We have one of the things about this company is we have a group of people. Doesn't matter if you're sideways, crossways, upline, downline. We all help one another. And we have Rich Cotter does an amazing job of putting together a training sheet, and we'll share that with you. Okay. So all the resources are there, and you're welcome to come to any of these calls and reach out to any one of us, because we're all here together to support one another. Okay, so put the number in the chat and we'll get you that the spreadsheet, okay?
Okay.
And we're having a special contest on our Wednesday night call. I do a Wednesday night call every Wednesday at 6 Pacific. So figure out what that is for you. At 6 Pacific, I do a business training call. And at what time is your call in the morning? 8 o'clock on Wednesday, you can, in the morning Pacific, you can hear Chip's call. And that's just 2 of the 30 some calls that we have available. But on my Wednesday night call, I want to be sure and tell you guys, people who come on the Wednesday night call and have bought their ticket for our conference in Las Vegas in April. If you're on the call and have bought your ticket, you send me a text that you are on the call, whether it was next Wednesday, for example. If you were on last Wednesday and you already bought your ticket, by all means, you already heard about the contest. But otherwise, you probably haven't heard about it. And what I'm doing is putting those names in a fishbowl and drawing $100 cash gift that will be given to the winners at Las Vegas. Now, our leadership team is also doing a fishbowl, but they're not drawing until you get to Las Vegas. I'm doing it for the next 5 weeks, last week and the next 4. And every week I'm giving away $100 that you get at conference for simply buying your tickets now. And by getting your ticket and being on the training call, that's the 2 requirements. And then you'll watch us draw the ticket out of a bowl. I don't have a fish bowl that I know of at the moment, but I'll have a clear bowl that we'll draw them out of, so you can see that they're being drawn week to week. So the more times you're on the call and registered, the more times you have of winning $100. That will pay for your trip if you order it now. I mean, it'll pay for your ticket if you order your ticket now. So get with the program. So that's all I have to say about that. And otherwise, absolutely get the training information. AviniHealthTraining.com. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcy. Thank you, Chip, for being with us tonight. And I just want to let you know, all of you, you're very, very special because you took the time to be here.
Yeah.
And a certain group of people will get their behaviors to match their intentions. That's our word for tonight. And I hope you're going to be that certain group of people. And I know Alan will be. For sure. And we'll all be at the summit in Las Vegas. And again, thank you, Chip and Marcy and Carol co-hosting, always helping in the tech part. We couldn't do this call without her for sure. And we're here next Thursday night. Parting words. We'll see you next week for Thursday and jump on those calls during the week. 11 o'clock call. Chip, that was awesome this week. I mean, that was powerful as usual. So I see everybody nodding their head. So I love it. But we'll see you next Thursday night as well, 7:30 right here on Avini Vibes. And I'm going to ask a question next week. And maybe we'll have a contest too, Carol. We'll have a contest on what does Avini Vibes mean to you? So get a guest, bring a guest. And let's all step up next week. Let's double the amount of people that are in this room tonight. Okay. So what does Avini Vibes mean to you? That's the question I'm going to leave you with. God bless you.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
All right.
And our group is growing. This call is getting bigger and bigger. So invite more people. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Have a wonderful night.
Good night.